Hi, this is Anna, Imagination with the Healing Garden. Welcome to Shifting Perspectives. I am a philosopher, which means I know everything and almost nothing. I have been curing my mental illnesses since 2022. I have documented all of my research and all of my progress my entire life. And in 2022, my work paid off when I discovered something that I call logical health and story health. And these are the two components that make up mental health that everybody except Pythagoras, who is dead, is unaware of. The story health is mine. The logical health is Pythagoras's, but the story health is mine. And good God, how much more we would know if everyone studied all the subjects instead of one or two. My last work in the last 5 days led me to discovering narcissism, being able to see precisely what it is, its story, how it got started. And I realized that there are 4 stages of narcissism. Stage 1 is the empath. If you boast yourself an empath, you've already got it. It is the mental illness that is designed to turn a victim into an abuser, which is why so many people can't see it until it's too late. It's because you might start off as a victim with another victim, and then you take turns saving each other, which turns you into the abusers at different paces, depending on who does the most saving. The more saving you do, the more it turns you over to an abuser. And I found the core of the logical fallacy. I believe that it was invented as a psychological weapon of warfare by Socrates, who was then executed by the Roman Empire, who asked him to manufacture this thing. And what better way to keep it a secret than to kill the person who invented it, which Socrates was eager to have done because he wanted to see his next adventure. He willingly drank hemlock. 60 years later, Alexander the Great conquered and secured what would become the Roman Empire. He was 18 years old. He was also a student of Aristotle. And I'm looking at it going, well, holy shit. So I traced this thing down and mapped it all out. I have now, it's available online. It is free. Click on the link below. You can click on it. It's Narcissism. How this Trojan Horse turns the victim into the abuser. And you can access the article there. So I put myself through it. It worked. I gave it to 2 other people, my case studies. It worked. And then I gave it to about 5 people. And it worked. And then I blasted it out to my outer circle. And I'm just watching the feedback. Oh my God. Oh, and so it's working. And I'm going, all right, we have a ring started. And I believe that I know that narcissism is the only mental illness. All of the others are symptoms. You fix this one, you fix them all. Which is really interesting because if you never get into that empath, save me, be saved mindset, You don't have any other problems. Somebody asked me, what about the abusers and the actual trauma? Here's the thing about trauma. I was raped May of 2023, and I was over it in 10 days. So let me tell you something about trauma. It's only traumatic if you don't have the right mindset to handle it. If you have the right mindset to handle it, it doesn't become trauma. No matter what happens to you, it doesn't turn into trauma, which is why some people can be exposed to something horrific and be fine, while other people be exposed to something that's a fraction of traumatic and they'll be traumatized. And it's not about what was done to you. It's about your mindset, because your mindset determines whether or not something's going to be traumatic or not. And the thing in your mindset that determines whether something's going to be traumatic or not is how much you need to be saved by somebody. Oh, look at that. We're back to the narcissism again. I have a full course. It's free. That gives all of this information. There's a lot more to it. Not a lot more. It's simple. It's literally 3 areas. You need your identity health, your story health, your logical health, and that's it. When you know who you are, you know where you are in the universe. Your identity are your coordinates for your location in the universe. To not know who you are is to literally lose your location. You become lost in the universe. You don't know your point of relativity. And that creates insanity, a madness, because you don't know where you are in the universe. So define the self. This is the most beautiful. This is my favorite part. Love and fear. Well, this is the self, and this is not knowing the self. There you go. Those are what those mean. I love that part. That when I found that out, I went, are you fucking kidding me? This is gorgeous. This is the most beautiful, beautiful. This whole thing is about love. And it's like, oh, I love how this thing just revolves around love. I'm going through love right now where romantic love was the bait used to convert people into narcissists. They make this shiny, this is how they did it. They make the shiny, beautiful ideal of romantic love, which lures people in. It's literally the happily after bullshit that really entices people. And that is narcissism. So that you go into it. And you'll become more obsessed with a romantic love story. There's that story again. That you don't even realize what's being done to you. And yesterday I discovered wisdom love or wise love, which was discovered and invented by Pythagoras. Not invented, discovered. I don't know much about it. I just was looking at Plato's work and his symposium, and then I was looking at Pythagoras, and then I was going, yeah, I would rather walk this journey without you two. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But I'm going to walk this journey on my own and figure it out for myself. I'm very excited. We're so busy following scripts that we don't trust ourselves to just improvise. You know, that's really what life is. You're so obsessed. I shouldn't say you, should I? We're so obsessed with following the script, needing to know what's happening. That is us projecting our lack of control onto the universe and our stories. We do that a lot. I've taken to writing more than talking lately. I am in the first perspective of the U of I, and I feel different. To remove narcissism was to remove infatuation. I need to write this down because it's going to be clever. Oh, I can do it right here. I'll hit edit. To remove narcissism is to remove infatuation. It is to remove obsession, possession, need, control, helplessness. It is to remove dependency, romanticism, attachment to story. To remove narcissism is to remove insecurity. It is to be filled with a vast, empty space. Void of all pain. Because the space is what held all that pain and insecurity. To remove narcissism is to feel the amount of pain you were holding. And you wonder, what emotion, energy, or time, what ideal was supposed to be there? Are these holes inside of me open wounds? Or are they caverns? Where love and peace and joy were always supposed to be. I don't know if caverns is the right word. I have to look it up now. Absolutely not. Caverns. That's the word I'm trying to find. And that's really it. I'm just sitting here with this space in my chest going, am I waiting for those to heal? And I'm observing. That's really what it is. This is what it is. I'm just sitting here observing. Are the holes going to fill? Like, this is my life the last 3 days. Just trying to figure out if these holes inside of me are going to fill, or if they're just going to, like, what's going to happen to them? Do they shrink? Do they go away? And I don't know. And I don't have to know. That's the best part. I don't have to know. That's fantastic. I've been waiting to get to this point in my life, all my life. To remove narcissism is to be filled with a relief that you no longer have to know. That is truly the best part. The urgency of needing to know everything is gone. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell everybody, you know what fucked us all up? The words. We're all walking around describing this thing, and it was wrong. We all talked about what we thought it was because we were describing narcissism through the eye of the narcissist. You want to talk about fucked up perspective. You want to talk about distorted view. You want to talk about how damaging words can be. Words create a distraction, a red herring. They invent a reality that we end up so focused on that we're not seeing the problem. Mindful words are powerful, but mindless words are devastating, as I am learning. You know, this is different than all the other mental illnesses. I cured my mental illnesses when I was alone. So I cured borderline. When I say I cured borderline, I now know this. I downgraded my narcissism. That's what I did. I was never full-blown narcissist. I was never stage 3 or 4. I was on the edge of stage 3. I was like end of stage 2, almost over to stage 3. When I finally figured out I need to cure this shit. And I cured borderline, and it dropped me down to stage 1 of narcissism. And that's where I've been. So I've been like using positive affirmations and all this other holistic shit to manage stage 1. But if I wasn't vigilant, it would come back. Everything else, the codependency, the depression, I was constantly vigilant, constantly utilizing all of this stuff to manage it and keep it down. And I'd mastered that to the point where I had no symptoms. My PTSD is long gone. Suicidal ideation, long gone. So I have all these things like it's all filling in. And when I was done, I was alone with the victory. I was alone with the information. But not this one. This one, I have a group of people around me. I have my network. I have my circuit. And I was able to reach the conclusion. It clicked. And then I talked to case study 1, gave it to her like hours after I did it, hours after I was going through it. And she took it and I watched her go through it and we went through it together. And then I gave it to case study 2. I gave it to case study 3. I gave it to case study 4. I just gave it to, I'm not taking on any more case studies. I've decided I'm going to start group studies instead of an individual case study, because my goal is to cure people by the groves, not one-on-one. And if the stuff that works for an individual one-on-one does not work for a group. So my goal is to get the information to a group in a group setting so that they can just take and download the information and go, oh. So I'm now moving on to group studies, not case studies. And it's going to be vast. Let's get this data out there to see how everyone responds. So if you want to be part of the group studies, it's free. Let me know and we'll get you in a group and we'll sign you up. Click on the link below and just contact me. And it's basically giving triadic healing to people and then monitoring it. You've got to be willing to like report in and tell me your progress. Basically it's going to be a worksheet where you track your progress, but I need to see your progress. I need to be able to track it. And that's going to provide me, I'm making this shit up right now. I'm like improving it right now. I make it look like it's all planned. It's not. I'm improving this shit right now on the spot. So what we'll do is we'll do the group studies, and then I will have a daily worksheet or even a weekly worksheet that will go out, and it will be like, fill this out, let me know your progress, and I will track you. I will track you. I will track your healing. And my goal is to get this down to 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I have a whole history. If you want to know where narcissism comes from, if you want to understand how it got into our culture, if you want all of that jazz, I've got that information. If you just want to know how to get rid of it, get out of the be saved, save cycle. It's a cycle. It's just the save me, be saved cycle. That's all it is. That's all it is. And we say it, you're safe now. You're safe now. As in you are saved now. That's what safe means. Did you know that? That safe means saved. That's what it means. That is exactly what it means. And it's just, it was so funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I love you, girl. Love you. And I know she's going to watch this video. And she said to me, oh my God, Jesus saves. Yep. Jesus was the first narcissist. Actually, he was not. The assholes who did this to us made him the first narcissist. And I can see it. I can just see the logic. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah. So, fortunately for me and the rest of the world, Pythagoras existed before Christ. So his shit is legit. So is Plato's and Socrates and Aristotle's. So I trust them because their shit came before Christ. That makes me happy. I have an urge to read Homer. The universe is going, read Homer. Okay, I will read Homer again. I'm supposed to read Homer now. The Iliad and the Odyssey. I'm going to read the Iliad. Oh, I love epic poetry. Yeah, for some reason I'm supposed to do that now. So those are my group studies. And I'm watching the world change around me. And I'm going, all right. So it's nice to do this one with people. It's nice to be able to hand it right to people and go, I got something new here, guys. Try this one out. Does this one work? And I've been introduced to people like other people going, this is fucking huge. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the best part about all this is narcissism is the only mental illness. Everything else is a symptom. Everything else is a symptom. And I noticed it was interesting because the people who are empaths, I would meet them and they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not an empath, but people don't walk all over me and I'm fine. And I'm like, you're an anomaly, right? Oh, I can't help but look at anomalies. I'm going, where are you an anomaly? Now I understand. It's because they never had the first, second, third ethic compromised. That's all. That's all. Like, I cannot pound this into people's heads more. People, you need the first 3 ethics. If you don't have them, you're going to be fucked up. Narcissism is a mental illness that literally fucks up your first 3 ethics. That's the end of the story. That's all it is. And all I can see is that dude in Apocalypse Now going, they're out there. They're firing at us. And there's Douglas going, we need to get out of here. And they're like, well, what's going on? There's no one out there. There's no one out there. That's narcissism. That wasn't PTSD. That was narcissism. That moment in Apocalypse Now when that dude is sitting there blasting off cannons and he's going, they're out there. And it's himself. Boo! That's narcissism. I spent my whole life going, ooh, PTSD. No! Narcissism. That's it right there. The paranoia. Paranoia is the core of all of this. And if you want an example, Iago, Othello, Shakespeare. My God. I remember when I first read Othello, I was at a point, I was 17 years old. I was 17 years old. And I was finally at a point where I could read Shakespeare fluently. My God, did I love those days. Oh my God. I remember the day it finally happened. I sat down. The first time I read Shakespeare, it was like grueling. Like, I will get through this. By the time I was 17, I could read Shakespeare fluently and understand all of it. So we get into school, and we were going to read Othello, we were going to read Hamlet, and I didn't wait. Something about Othello just, I need this book. I don't know why, but this is why. Easter egg. So I grabbed Othello and I just consumed it. I read that thing in like 2 hours, and then I reread it. And it like burned into my brain. Now, it's not my favorite. My favorite is Much Ado About Nothing. Oh, Lady Beatrice, hast thou wept all this while? Yea, and I will weep a while longer. I do not desire that. You have no reason. I do it freely. Tell me, surely your cousin is wronged. How much might the man deserve of me who would write her? Surely this is a man's office. It is a man's office, but not yours. I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange? That is strange. As the thing is, I know not, I cannot, and yet I lie not. I am sorry for my cousin. I love you, Beatrice, with all of my heart. Do not swear and eat it. Yeah, I love Much Ado About Nothing. Come, bid me do anything for thee. Kill Claudio. Not for the wide world. I loved Much Ado. Shakespeare was a 12th perspective. Oh, this world of ours. What a mess we have made of it all. What a mess we have made of our minds. And I wish I could step into each and every mind and just say, calm. I know you don't know who you are. I know you're trying to find that out. And the answer is not what you think it is. And we're all looking in the wrong place. Go bigger. You want to know who you are? Go bigger. Span out. I used to be terrified of the cosmos, terrified of the infinite. That was something I noticed a few weeks ago. When I could look upon the vastness of the universe and the everything, and what I saw was a playground, and there was no fear in me. I would go to the planetarium, and I would watch the infinite of space unfold before me. And I would have such fear. I would feel so small and so nothing. And all that fear now is gone. Othello. It's all there. Do you want to know what narcissism looks like? Shakespeare shows us. Desdemona and Othello are also narcissists, and so is Iago. Iago is stage 4. Desdemona is stage 1 or 2. Othello is stage 1 or 2. But by the end of the play, Othello is a stage 4 narcissist. And he kills his wife. And Iago used it as a weapon of warfare to usurp Othello, to take his military station for a job promotion. It was as if Shakespeare figured out the same shit I figured out. And he wrote an entire play called Othello to show us how narcissism was done and why. I remember when I was studying Shakespeare, there was controversy about whether or not he even existed, whether or not he was a group of men who wrote plays, whether or not he was a woman. And I ask the question, does it matter? King John was an anomaly. His play, King John, an anomaly. Some say that King John was written by somebody who wasn't Shakespeare, who wrote under the name of Shakespeare. Other people say Shakespeare did not write King John. But in my complete anthology over there, King John is included. They say if you read the entirety of the great books, you will walk away with a liberal arts degree. This is wrong. If you walk away, or if you read the great books, you will walk away with at least 5 doctorates degrees. At least 5. Assuming you can understand what is being said in all of them. I really want to go back and read all of them again. The problem is every time I read a book now, I think, why are you telling me how it ends? Spoilers! Every time now. Every time someone tells me, oh, did you know? No, spoilers. I'm on an adventure here. I'm finding this shit out for myself. If I read your book and you're telling me about your shit, I don't want spoilers. I want to figure out how the journey ends all on my own. Thank you very much. I can read Pythagoras. I can read Symposium. I can figure this shit out. But where's the fun in that? Why read a book when you can write your own? Oh, I've been asking that question since 2006 when I said, fuck this shit, I'm going to write my own. Oh, yes. I will never be done with podcasting. I love it too much. I take the stage and I emote my epiphanies. Good God, why would I ever give this up? A silent stage, me alone, emoting. Oh my God. And the best part is it's all recorded. So people can just come back and they will. Oh, I know they will. And I'm just like, yes, you again. That's what I'm going to do. One of these days, I'm going to walk on stage and be like, you again. That is something I absolutely would do. I'll walk on stage and you again. The voyeurs are back. I know why you're really here. To learn. I remember someone in my network once told me about this play. They went to see Nathan Lang and Matthew Broderick. It was the producers. And this was live on Broadway. Like, there it was. And people weren't laughing. And in the middle of it, Nathan broke the fourth wall, looked at the audience and said, "Why aren't you laughing? These are the jokes, people. I'm funny, I promise. Why aren't you laughing?" Who does that? and Matthew says, "Can we continue here?" And then they just went right back into the characterization and continued the story. But they broke the fourth wall. And I went, yes. To be able to play with the audience. That's why I loved him so much. I love you. He knew how to play with the audience. Oh, he is my master. Yes, you are. And that's something I want to do. I want to know how to play with the audience. My God, do I love playing with the audience. I'm writing a script right now for a play. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just come on every morning and have my coffee with you. Why does that make me so happy? Why does that make me so happy? If all I want was to share my coffee with someone, all I wanted, my father. I was a child. And every morning, I would go out and watch the sunrise and listen to the birds wake up. And my father would sit with me, or I would sit with him. It's the only time I was visible. I don't know what we talked about. We just watched the sunrise and listened to the birds. I do remember what we talked about. We talked about how much we both loved that. How we both loved the birds. And I could smell his coffee. And sometimes he would let me try it, and it was fucking disgusting. I put sugar in mine. Yeah. And I just wanted someone to share my coffee with every morning. I tolerated a lot of abuse just for that. Let me ask you something. What abuse have you tolerated just because you sought something you loved? That one hit you hard, didn't it? It hit me hard too. Maybe this is the healing. Maybe it's right now, right here. Maybe I don't teach you how to heal. Maybe I just sit down and I talk to you about the bullshit I went through. And I heal with you. Good question, though. How much abuse and bullshit did you tolerate just to get a taste of something you loved? Because I did. I just wanted someone to share coffee with. And my first husband did not drink coffee. He took my coffee machine away from me every morning. That's when I invented don't fuck with the coffee ceremony. My second husband, fucking abusive asshole, a narcissist. Stage 3. No, I think he was the beginning of stage 4. Stage 4 narcissists will use terrorism. I was a stage 2 while he was a stage 4. My daughter is a stage 2, stage 3. My God, I wish I could get to her. I'll send her the article. I'm doing it right now. Wow, look at that. I'm like, I'm going to save my daughter. That took no time at all. The narcissist cure. My daughter is so logical. That's all she understands. Just like me. Please read it, Emily. Please read it, Emily. Please read it, sweetheart. I invented this for my daughter. That's why I did all of this. I couldn't get to her. She's a 5th perspective. Who? Prove it! Everything's got to be proven. Everything's got to be science. She is my daughter. So I developed all of this so that I could hand her the scientific fact and say, this is the physics, this is the math, this is the psychology, this is the science, this is the credibility, this is the data. I love you, and I can prove it. So I think I'll have coffee with you every morning, because that's really all I've ever wanted. It's such a stupid thing to want, isn't it? We have this dumb expectation, like a god is supposed to be this thing without emotion. Well, without emotion, wouldn't it just be Spock? I just see McCoy sitting here going, "You cold, heartless Vulcan." But when we imagine a God, we imagine him gentle, kindness, unyielding. And yet, God is a jealous God. What the fuck does that even mean? So fucking stupid. Sorry. Like, of all the shit I've seen out there, I'm looking at it and I'm going, God is love. Okay, check. Got that. That makes sense. The self is God. The God self. God is love. We are love. Therefore, we are God. That makes total sense. Metaphysics is lining up with the world. We are one. One is all. We are God. Okay, got that. And then God is jealous. That's got Roman shit written all over it. Who put that in there? I can just see Constantinople now going, yes, God is jealous. And I know why. I know why. Because when you are putting God as your archetype, be like God. They want you to be jealous. So when you experience jealousy, you can say things like, yes, this is the right emotion because God is jealous. See how that works? But as a child, I was like, that makes no sense. Oh, I got in so much trouble. I was the one in church going, wait, question. If God knows everything and God knows me, then why the fuck is heaven gold? Because heaven would be books and trees. But the books would not have required killing trees. That's my idea of heaven. So what the fuck is this shit? Oh, look at that. The ebook was made for me. Like, look at that. The ebook was made for me. All right, I'll get off my ego here. So I'm sitting here like, seriously, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah. I got into a lot of trouble. I didn't give a fuck. I just love my life. When I look back at it, I'm on the outside and everyone's inside this little box. And I see my family all sitting in this cardboard box with little ships and things. I forgot. When I was a child, we would have these giant cardboard boxes, like refrigerator boxes, the cardboard boxes that refrigerators come in. And we would take crayons and paint. The 80s were so fucking cool for this reason. And we would paint knobs and dials and buttons all over the cardboard boxes. And then we would climb inside the boxes and we would pretend we were in a spaceship. And we were. And then we would land on planets. And I loved being in the spaceships. I loved being in the ships. I forgot all about the cardboard boxes. That's what happened. It was a couple weeks ago, and I was working with one of my case studies, and all my emotions, all my memories, everything before 8 years old came back. I remember the cats. I remember the cellar. I'd forgotten all of it. I remembered the bad stuff too, and all of my horrible nightmares. I remember crying that night going, I understand why my memory said, no, you can't have these. Oh, they were my worst memories. I loved those cardboard boxes so much. And then After I remembered I had no choice but to stop suppressing that horrible information that I had. And just like that, I could handle it. And I was able to process it. And it was so funny because during the processing, while I was breaking it all down, I had a moment where I said, wait, I've got data in here and I can start psychoanalyzing pedophilia. Let's do this. And I wasn't going to. I was never going to touch this because it was so traumatic. And I did. I started pulling it apart, going, okay, this is, and I did it so quickly. I was just like, let's just get this over with. It's an addiction. And in addition to addiction, it's narcissism. It's what happens when narcissism meets addiction at the stage 4. And the substance isn't alcohol or methamphetamines. It's children. There, boom, because they define their identity by what was done to them. So they are projecting their own abuse onto others because they identify with sexual abuse. There. Okay, we're done now. Can we get out of this route? It was like psychoanalyze. I broke it all down. I have to take care of narcissism and I have to take care of addiction, and that will click it. All right, good. Let's go. Let's throw that away. I never need to look at that again. So it was wonderful that I was able to extract the information that I didn't even know I had to cure that. I listened, it was an audio on PBS, a pedophile who never acted upon it. And they interviewed him. He was 25. And she interviewed a pedophile who had never committed a crime. Do you have any idea how rare that information is? He talked about the addiction. He talked about the urge and the impulse. That's addiction all over it. He talked about how it felt, the desire, the attraction, and what he used to manage it. But he chose not to cross over. When you hate and when you judge, you close your mind to solutions. I realized this a few weeks ago with narcissism, a few months ago. And I realized if we hate on the narcissists, why would they ever seek out help? We really need to change the way we think about mental illness, because the prejudice of mental illness causes a lot of people to go, I'm not mentally ill. Because they don't want to be hated. They don't want the stigma on them. Who does? Just because you're mentally ill does not mean you're not credible. Look at me. Just because you're mentally ill does not mean you're not credible. Credibility. Credibility is in the eye of the beholder. There's a hierarchy, a status that we put on our opinions and perspectives. Your opinion is better than mine. My opinion is better than yours. No. It doesn't matter if you're a criminal. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy. It doesn't matter if you're 5. It doesn't matter if you can't talk. It doesn't matter if you have multiple personality disorder. It doesn't matter if you're a serial killer. No one's perspective is better than anyone else. Our perspectives are equals. No matter what, no matter where, no matter when. My perspective is just as good as yours. Yours is just as good as mine. A perspective is just the summation of your life, nothing more. It's just a story. Your perspective is just a story, and your perspective is a story. Do you see the difference? Because it's both. Your perspective is just a story, and your perspective is a story. It's art. You can't compare that. I'm going to have coffee with you tomorrow. Because I enjoy having coffee with people. It's that time where you sit back and you just go. And I imagine I would love to do like a talk show where I sit and I have my coffee. But I'm going, why do I have to wait for a studio? Like, when I have the money, I'm going to have my own in-home studio very soon. I kind of already have one. And it's just going to be like, good morning. This is, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I have to come up with a name for it. The Philosopher's Lab. Welcome to the Philosopher's Lab. Yeah, maybe I'll do this. Welcome to the Philosopher's Lab. Ooh, I feel it. Something is starting. Ooh, I feel it in my chest. Something is starting. What am I waiting for? Funding? Yeah. You know what? I'm doing it now. Right now. This is it. This is the show. Welcome to the Philosopher's Lab, where you sit and you listen to the philosopher. And I just tell you my shit in my head with my coffee. Yes, I take sponsors. Yes, I have space to say, this product is awesome. Maybe I'll figure that out. I'll review people. Oh, yeah, I'll review shit. I would absolutely do reviews, but I'm going to be honest. You better make it good shit, because if it's not, I'll let you know. I started doing movie reviews. I'm doing movie reviews now, and I'm loving it. I did my first one yesterday. Oh, I have homework to do. Yes. Yeah, I got to watch another movie. And so I'm doing that now, and I'm very, very excited. And I'm like, yes. And it's so funny because I walked into this world and I never even thought about it. You know what? Fuck this shit. It's my studio. It's not a podcast anymore. It's my morning coffee show. Boom. Yes. I'm happy. All right. Because I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I thought, this is why I said I'm going to have a studio in my apartment, in my house, is because if you're actually in a studio, you know, those people have to get up at like 2 a.m. 2 fucking a.m. And I'm like, I can see it. I get up at 2 a.m. I take the train into the city. I'm at CBS Studios. That's fucking shit. I don't want to be at the Rainbow Room at like 2 a.m. doing makeup and hair until 4 a.m. just so I can go live and say, good morning. Fuck that shit. I'm going to do my own studio right here at 9 a.m. in my pajamas. That's right. Pajamas. That's right. That's right. Sometimes my fucking bathrobe without makeup, because I don't need that shit. Yes. This makes me happy. So yeah, this is my life. And I get you with my coffee. So I could not be fucking happier. Oh, I feel fantastic right now. And I don't have cue cards. And I don't have censors. And I don't have political sponsors going, Anna, you can't say that because the pharmaceuticals are the one who are funding this show. So you can't bash the pharmaceuticals. Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Inside the brain of, I don't know what this is going to be called, but this is my thing now. And I went, yeah, I would have my own studio. So when people say, we want you on this show, would you be willing to come? No, I'm not willing to come to your studio. You can come to mine, but I am not coming to yours, because yours requires me to get on the train at 2 a.m. And then I've got other people, and I love people, but I've got people like, I'm located here. Can you do this hour? And I'm going, you realize that's 2 a.m. for me, right? Not going to happen. And I'm starting to realize anything after 6 o'clock is not good for me. Like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no. You're going to have to like accommodate my schedule. My schedule, I can do 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's 9 to 4. I can do 9 to 4. That's my open availability. Anything after that, and I'm going, yeah, it's not going to work out. Which is it's not really a problem because I got a lot of people in Cali and they're like, maybe this is the healing. And I'm not coming to you like a psychologist going, oh, this is the way it needs to go. This is the textbook. Well, there's a fucking shit anyway. Such Victorian garbage. I was watching something. Oh, yeah. I was watching Doctor Who last night. And the doctor, it was Matt Smith, 11th. And the doctor was like, you and your Victorian era mindset. And he's like, what's wrong with the Victorian era mindset? And I'm sitting here going, everything. Wow. The psychology of the Victorian mind. Whew, that was a doozy to go into. I'm like, yeah, about that. And you know what's sick? I love watching internet memes where they're like, the Victorian era did this. And I'm going, we're still doing it. I talk on authority a lot. And I look at people and I say things like, you know, I don't feel confident sometimes. In the back of my mind, every time I do a podcast video, I think, because I don't have proof of concept yet. I think things like, no one's going to like this. No one's going to agree. I'm still shrinking inside, anticipating the backlash. I am still guarded. I am still alert. My arms around my head. Still terrified of speaking, waiting for the contradiction to come. I still am trying to teach myself that it's safe to talk. Some people expect perfection from psychologists, and some people expect perfections from people of authority. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. Abandonment doesn't exist. These are fictions we've invented, so we fail, so we shrink. And when you realize that perfection doesn't exist, it's a fiction. Why are you chasing a fiction? Why are any of us chasing fictions? And no greater fiction has been planted into our minds than romance and love. Love is real, but no one has any idea what it actually looks like today. You do not know what love is until you reach the 12th perspective. Love at the first perspective does not look like love at the third perspective. At the third perspective, there is no love. At the fourth perspective, love is controlling everyone to keep them safe. At the fifth perspective, love is, I know how to talk to you. At the fifth perspective, love is supporting somebody and letting them be free to explore their own business, to become their own authority. At the sixth perspective, love is accepting everybody for who and what they are and prioritizing them over the self. At the second perspective, love is including them when you bake cookies. It's letting them run and get you the ingredients while you bake the pie. At the first perspective, love is we think love is enabling. At the first perspective, we think love is taking care of somebody who can't help themselves. At the first perspective, love should be a cheerleader saying, I'm not going to help you, but I am going to encourage you. I'm going to say, come on, stand up. You can do it. I know you can, but I'm not going to do it for you because I know you can. Now stand up. Show yourself that you can. That is what love should look like at the first perspective. At the seventh perspective, love is I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to listen and give you my audience. At the seventh perspective, love is allowing you to be my audience. And at the eighth perspective, love is allowing you to be in my audience. And at the ninth perspective, love is sharing the stage. And at the 10th perspective, love is giving all the allowance for all of the emotions, including yours. It's forgiveness. It's understanding and allowing and accepting all of your emotions with you. And at the 11th perspective, love is steering your own life with logic through the emotions and guiding other people through that same navigation. Use your logic. And at the 12th perspective, love is the alignment and the balance of all of the love. It is the open acceptance of all of these stages. And that is love. It is flexibility. And it is forgiveness. And it is trust. All of these things are love. And in the first perspective of the U of I, love is patience. Love is patience. Love is giving time. It's removing all pressure and allowing whatever time and space a person needs to grow. You see, everyone loves. Each perspective just loves differently. And when you understand that, and when you start to learn how to read and speak in the different perspectives, you understand. This is wise love. This is what it is to have wisdom love. Pythagoras called it philosophy. Isn't that fucking beautiful? Thank you. Thank you so much for being my audience. May the kindest of words always find you.